it's Haley and welcome back to my crochet corner. In today's video, we're going to be doing a how I started a successful crochet business at 19. This is a question I frequently get asked because so many of you guys who follow me want to start your own businesses or crochet businesses, and a lot of you guys either don't know where to start or you guys don't necessarily know how to go about the whole thing. So I have different aspects that I'm going to talk about, and then towards the end of the video I'm going to be explaining how I use these aspects throughout my entire journey and when I started applying all these things and what I saw with the outcomes of all of these different things. So be sure to follow me on Instagram, guys, please. And then if you guys are not subscribed, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, guys, and let's get into the video. So, first things first, you are going to want to find your application. What platform do you want to sell on? And honestly, you could do anything. There's websites, there's Etsy, there's TikTok shop, or you can just sell in person. So there's many different platforms for creating your website, or there's platforms that are already created like Etsy or TikTok shop that you don't necessarily have to build anything, or there's different websites. There's Squarespace and Shopify. So the first step in your business is looking at all these different seller platforms and figuring out which one you think is gonna work best for you. When I initially started, I'll go into detail a lot later when explaining my entire journey, but I started off initially with Etsy and then I transitioned to TikTok shop. So that's a little bit on that. But each different platform, essentially all different platforms have different types of fees, different amount of fees. Each platform, I guess, has a different aspect that they give you. For instance, if you have your own website, you can design it exactly how you want. But if you have an Etsy shop, there's already a standard format you have to follow, but Etsy pushes out your content. Then there's TikTok shop where you can do live and connect your shop to your to the live, and it's honestly, when you're picking your platform, it's just whichever you think is going to be best for your use. So like I mentioned, I started off with Etsy and I later on switched over to TikTok shop. Alright, now we're going to move on to social media and marketing. So my biggest tip is get as many social media platforms as possible. When I first, the first few months that I started, I had TikTok, I had YouTube, I had Instagram, Pinterest, and those were the four that I used. I mainly use Pinterest, TikTok, and Instagram. I didn't get into YouTube until a little later on, but I did have all four. And another tip is when creating your brand name, but as well as your social medias, you want to make sure that the name you pick for your business is available on all these different platforms, just because it's easier for people to find you that way. But like I mentioned, you want to have as many platforms as possible. That's how you're going to reach the biggest audience, and that's just honestly my advice. Also, the great thing about social media is all you have to do is create one video. All you have to do is create one video and you can post it on all the platforms. So it's kind of just the work in itself is making your video, is whatever your market strategy is for creating your videos. It's just creating the videos, and then you can post the same thing to TikTok, to YouTube Shorts, to Instagram Reels. You just take the same thing, post it on all platforms, and it reaches all different kinds of audiences because not everybody uses the same platforms. So you're reaching so many different audiences like that. And the second thing that comes with posting is consistency, guys. I cannot stress how much consistency is important. The first 2 months before I even opened my business. So I basically I call it the pre-work, but I knew I wanted to use TikTok as my main platform, and I knew I wanted to do TikTok live, but the only way you could do TikTok live is if you had 1,000 followers, and also at 1,000 followers is when you could put a link in your TikTok bio. So I knew that, so 2 months before I opened up my shop, I was on TikTok posting every single day, sometimes 2 to 3 times a day, but at least once a day. but I really wanted to get that 1,000 really quickly, so I posted 2 to 3 videos a day, and I definitely got there very quickly. So that I cannot stress enough. Also, especially if you use each like platform has like a different type of algorithm, but at least with TikTok loves consistency, and you will see it. You will for sure see it. TikTok loves consistency. So like I mentioned, and when it comes to posting, you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna run out of ideas, but there's honestly so many different types of videos that you guys can film for your business. So I'll tell you guys some of the few types I like to do. Let's see. My most popular video is me creating whatever crochet project I'm making. So me actively crocheting, or me actively showing the pieces. Like if I'm making a plushie, showing the arms and then the legs and then this and this and then all together at the end. Those ones typically do the best. There's also videos where you can like show the yarn and then you show your plushie in the next clip. Or there's videos where you can just film of clips after clips of all of different plushies. You can do music as a background, you can do voiceovers, you can do like days in my life as a small business owner. You can go do a video whenever you go yarn shopping, bring us along, show us what you're getting, what you bought, talking about your favorite crochet patterns, or like showing off your favorite crochet patterns. Literally guys, the opportunities are endless. When it comes to making videos, even if you don't think it's your best work, still post it, because it's consistency. It's gonna sound annoying how many times I say consistency, but I generally think consistency is what got me to where I am today. So that's why I'm heavily gonna emphasize on consistency. And also I like to add on, when it comes also to marketing, you want your audience, whoever's seeing your video, whoever your intended audience is, especially if you're trying to seek out potential customers, you want people to know that what you're showing, you're offering. You want people to know that it is for sale. Because honestly, on TikTok, you could just be maybe a crochet account, but you don't sell your things. You just show people what you make. It's important to emphasize the fact that people can buy these plushies, that your account is a shop. So it's important to like put, oh, plushies available for adoption, or find them in my shop, or link to my shop is here, and just heavily emphasize that, so that people know your products are not just for show, but that they can actually purchase these items, because it's a different type of like communication that way, just so that people know. And yes, you can become really annoying, and it kind of looks like, oh, I just want people to buy and buy and buy and buy. But that's honestly what marketing is. People are not going to know that you're offering these things to sell unless they know that they're up for sale. And if you just like, for instance, post a picture of something, someone will be like, oh, like that's cute, like they made that, like that's cute, but they might not know that it's currently like available on your site, or that you can place a custom order for it, or whatever the case is. So when it does come to marketing, it may be really annoying to consistently like post and saying like, hey, like this is my shop, you can find this on my shop, and this and this and this. But it's just so important so that people know you're offering these things for sale. So this kind of builds off of that previous topic we just talked about, but branding your business. This is something that I think it's important for your business, and I guess also like your like credibility, and it's just how you're gonna be known. Because there are thousands of people who have small businesses. There are thousands of people who have crochet small businesses. But how are you gonna make your business different from others? It's gonna be your branding. It's gonna come down to your logo. It's gonna come down to your aesthetic. It's gonna come down to your brand colors, your brand font, and just those little things. For instance, if you look at my YouTube, you can see like my first half of videos, all the thumbnails look so random. So if someone were to come across my video, they probably wouldn't know it's the same account. They would probably just think, oh, like new person, I guess, right? But if you look at like my next half of my YouTube thumbnails, you'll see that yes, they're different, but they all look kind of similar. So if you guys don't know, my brand color is purple. So if you look at all my thumbnails, for instance, you'll see that for a lot of them, if the background isn't complete, the background will be purple. You'll see that most of the time the lettering is purple. You'll see like little sub boxes, they're purple. If you guys watch some of my YouTube videos and I include text boxes, you'll see the text boxes are purple. You'll see it on my YouTube videos. I use the same font. You'll see whenever I'll post like pictures of like flyers and stuff I'll make, you'll see I'll use the same font. I'll use the same colors. My business cards, you'll see that everything is just so unison, so that if you were to see it, you'll be like, okay, that's Crochet Corner right there. Like, this is Crochet Corner. And even my background is also very distinct. So if you were to see a video with my background, you'll know that it's mine. Like, it's me. Like, it's my channel. It's my video. It's my post. It's just really important for branding to distinguish yourself so that people can point you out, because in a crowd of 1,000 crocheters, all of us, if you do plushies, we're all gonna look the same. But it's how you make your business different from others. Like, how do you stand out compared to all the other thousands of crocheters? So at the end of the day, it comes to your branding. It's how you brand your business. It's how you represent your business. And I think that it's really important when it comes to also like how you market your business. So that's my little tangent of that. So I think it's important, one, I know a lot of people use like Canva to do their logos, and that's why sometimes you'll see a lot of people have like really similar like logos. I think you definitely could use them if you change them enough, because my logo, it was Canva like templates, but I use multiple templates and I combine them in one. So I think it's important that yes, you can use templates, but make them different, because I've seen so many accounts that have like the same like logo, but it might be just like a different color. So I think it's important that you make a logo that is distinguishable, and then I think it's important that you stick to maybe 1 or 2 brand colors. My brand colors is like a light gray and a purple, and then I also, whenever I make posts and stuff, there's always 2 fonts that I'll use, and those are my 2 fonts that I'll always use for all my stuff. It's just important to, once again, keep your branding consistent, and that'll just build your business and build your credibility for your business, and that's what's going to represent your business and make you look different from other businesses. So another good thing that you should do for your business, and I highly recommend, it's definitely not necessary, but I also think this is why I've been able to build a successful business, is expanding your audience. So with that being said, I would say my business has 3 different audiences mainly. So one I would categorize as, I call them my plushie lovers. These are the people who love plushies. They buy plushies, they collect plushies, or they give out plushies for like gifts and stuff. And I refer to this audience as plushie lovers. And these are the people who are buying your plushies online or buying your plushies at markets. So that is one distinct audience in itself, and I like to call them plushie lovers because I think that sounds so cute. But my next audience is crocheters. So yes, I sell plushies, and my plushies, honestly, anybody can buy my plushies, but I call the plushie audience plushie lovers. And then we have my crocheters, and I've been starting to get into writing patterns, and then I've also been hand painting my own safety eyes. So that kind of stuff appeals to now a new audience, which are my fellow crocheters. Shout out to you guys. And then my last audience is my crochet learners. If you guys don't know, I released crochet kits a few months back, and that's how I appealed to a new audience. And people who maybe were plushie lovers, they want to learn how to crochet, and now they've seen that I make crochet kits and they buy those and they learn how to crochet. Or people who never followed me before but see that I have kits, that's a new audience because they're like, oh, I want to learn how to crochet, let me check out your kit, or let me now follow you and maybe ask you questions. So I think it's important to expand your business, and that's why I also think it's important to have different social media platforms. That's also a great way also to expand your business, because once again, not everyone uses the same platforms. So that's really important. I would say my TikTok audience and my YouTube audience are very different. Like, I have some people who literally only follow me on YouTube, literally some people who only follow me on TikTok, and a good majority mix of the both follow me on Instagram. But not everybody uses TikTok, not everybody uses YouTube, not everybody uses Instagram. So it's important that once you expand your audience, you represent yourself on many platforms, and your business can service many different people. You guys get what I'm saying? So I think that's also really important to look at your business and find ways that you can find to expand. Because when I first started, I solely thought that to this day I would only be making and selling crochet products, but that's not the case. Even so, if you guys have followed me since the beginning, you guys can even expand your business with crocheting. Because if you guys don't know, I started with crochet bags, and I even dipped a little into doing coasters, and then I started doing plushies. So even if you still do want to crochet, like crocheting a bunch of different things, that's still opening up to many audiences. Because some people are like, oh, like I don't want a plushie, but ooh, like a crochet bag, like that's really cute, like I'll use a crochet bag, you know? So there's just different audiences just within that as well. So I think it's important to expand so that multiple different audiences, your business appeals to multiple different audiences, and that's just also how you're going to grow your business. Right, so now I'm going to take you guys along for my crochet journey and how I got to where my business is today. I'm going to basically bring you guys month by month until we reach September 2024. So I'm going to take you guys back to July of 2023. So, July of 2023. So, I told you guys earlier, I started my TikTok account in May of 2023. So, by July 2023, my TikTok account had a little bit of growth and it was ready to go. So, July, I opened up my shop July 5th. And back then, if you guys don't know, I sold crochet bags. I did not sell plushies. That's it. I only crochet bags. Only thing I did. So in the month of July, I got 3 sales, and I'll give you guys a little fun story about how I got my first sale. I actually got my first sale the first day I opened up my business, and that brought my expectation levels up to here, guys. It brought it so high. I was like, oh my god, first sale, first day, like I'm gonna kill this. This is gonna go so good. It's not what happened, but my first sale, I made a TikTok saying, oh, like, hey, my crochet. My Etsy shop is open. I showed like clips of my bags, clips of my shop, whatever. And then I literally 20 minutes later after I posted that TikTok, I got my first sale. And I will never forget the girl. Her name was Natasha. And she left me the sweetest little message. And it was like, oh, I saw your TikTok. Your bags are so cute. Like I knew it had to be your first like sale and whatever. She was the sweetest, the sweetest. But that's fun fact. That's how I got my first sale the first day I opened my Etsy shop. And so in total, I got 3 sales that month. I'm pretty sure the other 2 sales, one was my friend and one was my aunt. So nothing crazy in July, just, you know, still getting used to it. And I started TikTok live, but I was not consistent. I maybe did 2 or 3 lives within July. So now let's move into August. So August is also when I started my Instagram, and I started posting whatever I posted on TikTok, I would post it on my Instagram. I never really liked Instagram, which is why I initially never opened it. But in August, I decided, I was like, okay, I'm just going to open up an Instagram, and I'm going to just start posting whatever TikToks I've made, and I'm going to post them on Instagram. So that's some background for that. And then in August, I got a total of 8 sales. But also in August, I also wrote my like first pattern, and it was for a granny square. So out of those 8 sales, maybe only 2 or 3 were bags, and the rest were this granny square pattern I released. And then I started doing TikTok live a little bit more, but it wasn't consistent. It wasn't really anything. But I did start doing TikTok live just a little bit more. So next up in September, I got a total of 6 sales. Once again, I think maybe 1 or 2 of those were maybe a bag, and then the rest were just pattern sales. And this kind of like deterred me just like a little bit, and this is when I first started getting into plushies, because obviously like now I was in the crochet world, I've seen like lots of people making plushies, so I was like, maybe like let me like try this out and maybe see if I like it. I did not like it at first, but I went back to it maybe like a week or two later and I started liking it a little bit more. But overall, that was my September. Once again, like August, I really didn't do TikTok live much, just maybe like a couple within the month, but I was not consistent. It wasn't really much of anything. So now we're in October. So in October, I got a total of 4 sales because I stopped. I had bags, but they were not selling. And I was mainly learning how to do plushies. My focus, I was really like discouraged in October just because I had all these bags and they just really weren't selling, and it was like kind of bummy. But I still stuck with it just to like see it out and see how it went, and I was just there and I was learning how to do plushies. And I started doing TikTok live a little bit more consistently than the previous months. So now we're in November and I know how to make plushies, and in November, like the end of October, early November, I started selling plushies on my Etsy. And guys, look at this drastic. October 4 sales, November 26 sales. My sales jumped. And this is, I also some of this is pattern sales and some of this is plushie sales. So and coaster sales, because I started doing coasters around like October too. So, and then guys, you're gonna be like, Haley, how the heck did you like move this fast? But in November, I actually did my first 2 ever markets, which is crazy to say because I just learned how to do plushies in October, September, end of September, early October is when I started learning how to do plushies. So you're gonna be like, Haley, how the heck are you already doing markets in November? My first market was November 9th. So you're like, Haley, how in the world are you already doing markets? So the thing is, when it came to learning how to do plushies, I was able to pick it up really quickly because I already knew how to crochet. Like I was making crochet bags, like I was making coasters. I already knew how to crochet. I already knew all the stitches. I just really wasn't familiar with using plush yarn. And that was the only thing that was difficult for me, was learning how to see my stitches, how to count my stitches. But I was able to pick it up really quickly and my work looked pretty decent because I already knew how to crochet. So I was able to pick it up and master it a lot quicker because I already knew how to crochet. So November 9th, I actually did my first market and I made about like $320. And also keep in mind, at these markets, I still had all my crochet bags. A lot of my crochet bags, I still had them. So I also brought those to market. So my markets were like half crochet bag, half plushie. So just keep that in mind. So I made about like, my first market, I made around about like $320. And then I had a 2-day market later that month. You guys are probably thinking I'm insane. But then I had a 2-day market later that month. And I made close to $1,600 at that market. And that is where I locked in. I was like, I'm doing plushies. This is what we're doing. We're converting. I already knew I really wasn't going to do bags anymore. But at that moment, I was like, I need to switch. I'm no longer going to make any bags. And we're switching and we're doing plushies. And I just went with it. So, and by November, my TikTok lives were consistent. I was there almost every other day. I don't want to say every day, but I was there almost every other day. I would try to do a live anytime I could, just because I was like, my business was a full 360 and I'm like, I need to get on this plushie like crochet content type thing. I need people to know I make plushies now and not bags. So it was like a full 360 for me. And now let's go into December. So in December, I had a total of 24 sales. And I started, so back in October, let me backtrack. So back in October, I opened up a YouTube channel, but I posted a video literally once a month. I posted like one video October, one video like November. Like I did not use YouTube. But in December, I started consistent with YouTube. I remember, guys, these videos are so bad. But I did like a 12 day like till Christmas series, and that was like my introduction into YouTube and start doing YouTube videos. Because I really wanted to get monetized. Oh my god, I wanted to get monetized on YouTube. So I started doing YouTube, and it was hard. Guys, when I first started YouTube, it was so hard, and it was so discouraging when I would post a video and it would be like 15 views. And that's it, and I would be like, oh, okay. But December, same thing. I was super consistent in December because I'm in college, so I had a break from school. December, basically the first week of December is finals week, and then the rest of December we have off. There's no school. So I was consistent every day on TikTok, building my account, getting sales, and all of this. I'm still on Etsy. So what my TikTok lives would look like is similar to what I have now, but I had like a little rack that was like next to me, like right here, and my plushies would be there. I would be here crocheting, and people would join my live and I'd be like, oh, like all these plushies are available on my Etsy. Just go to my TikTok page, click the link in bio, and it'll take you to my Etsy shop, and that's where you can purchase any of these plushies. And that's basically, that was me every single day on TikTok. So that was December. Now let's go into January. And here, just keep in mind, December, I was consistent. There was no school. I was on my grind in December. So in January, I got a total of 59 orders. And it was just literally grinding. There's nothing more I can say besides December. In January, I was just on my grind. So in January, we had 59 sales, and I think I maybe posted like 2 YouTube videos, and my account just like on TikTok was just like growing. I was posting all this new content that was now just plushies, and people were loving the plushies. People were loving the Christmas plushies, and I remember around this time I also started taking a lot of custom orders, which is really important, I think, in growth and getting loyal customers and getting people to come back. I think is really important. But I remember doing a lot of custom orders during this time. And also the good thing, I was consistent on TikTok, and the way TikTok loves consistency, as I mentioned. So I was doing lives almost every day, and it definitely reflected in my TikTok lives. More people would join every day. I would be getting tons and tons of followers. I would get off of TikTok lives, get over 100 followers, I would get sometimes over 200 followers. Like, it was insane, and it was just because my consistency was so there. It was definitely really getting reflected in my TikTok lives. And the more I did TikTok live, at first, yes, I was very awkward, but the more I did it, I got more comfortable. The same people would join, so you'd get really comfortable with your audience, and then it became really fun just meeting new people and talking to new people. And you get on TikTok, I've noticed that you gain a lot of really loyal customers, and they always join your lives. You get a lot of loyal crochet friends who come and they join your live and they crochet with you, and it's just honestly such a good time. And that's why it was so easy for me to be consistent, because it was something I truly enjoyed doing. I feel like a lot of people in the crochet community are just really loving and kind, that over time, TikTok live, you just look forward to it. And it was just something I really looked forward to doing every day, and I just fell in love doing it. And you guys are the ones who would come and support me, and it was just honestly such a good time. And it was just easy to stick with it and be consistent. And at least like on TikTok, it really reflected that consistency with how fast my following grew, because crazy. But so we were in January. So now going into February, I had a total of 65 sales in January. In February, we had 65 sales. And once again, I remember I was taking lots of custom orders. And then in February, I also released my crochet kits. And once again, this opened up a new audience, and I was selling crochet kits now, guys. I was on my roll. So in February, then I was still consistent with TikTok Live. I'm still on Etsy, by the way, guys. We're still on Etsy. So people, I was like, go to my TikTok bio, click the link, it'll take you to my Etsy. and I was selling. At this time, I had granny square crochet patterns out. I had a pattern out for my octopus and my bee because those were the ones in my crochet kits that I was now selling. And yeah, so now let's go into March. So for March, still on Etsy, 64 sales, and I had 2 markets in March. I'm gonna see and if I remember them. One of my markets, it was a really good market day. I made 1100. I had another market that wasn't too hot, but I think I made around like, I think it was like around maybe 500, but it was a 2-day market, and it was one of my, I think to this day, that was probably one of the worst markets and markets experiences I've ever had. But once again, I started doing some spring markets. So I did 2 markets in March, and then in April I got 39 orders and I did 1 market. My orders in April decreased a little bit because I'm in college and I was taking finals. So and I also got, April is like a month where my business started declining just a little bit because I broke that consistency. And this is why I say consistency is key, because April, that consistency broke. I got my wisdom teeth out, so I was out. I could not film content. Like, I was out. I got my wisdom teeth out, and it was also finals week, so I was busy studying and taking finals and all of that. And that's when my consistency on TikTok broke, and I'm still to this day trying to rebuild it, and it definitely is going up now. But that's when I really wasn't posting much. I wasn't really going live because I couldn't, and I broke that consistency, and it showed. My videos were getting less views, my lives were getting less views, and that's why I just consistency, because TikTok booted me out of their algorithm during the month of April. But we got 39 orders, and I did 1 market in April. I remember that market. It was a pretty average market day, but that was April. So now let's get into May. So May is when I transitioned over and I started a TikTok shop. I have a crochet friend. She is Dreamy Knots Crochet, and she had a TikTok shop and she was doing really good. So I was like, I'm gonna open a TikTok shop, because back in July when I opened up my Etsy shop, that's when TikTok shop was first opened, and people would tell me like maybe consider TikTok shop, but TikTok shop just opened, so I was really hesitant to go on it. So I didn't, and I decided to do Etsy. But after doing Etsy for a few months, and now that it's May and I wasn't in school anymore, I was like, you know what, let me give TikTok shop a chance. So I went in May. I still had my Etsy open, but I wasn't selling plushies on Etsy anymore. I had my crochet kits in Etsy, and I had my patterns in Etsy, and that's it. I didn't sell plushies on there. So in May, I opened up my TikTok shop. I had 1 market in May, and then my sales on TikTok shop, I had 95 sales. And then also in May is when I got monetized on YouTube. So that was a lot of different things. That May was like a really big month for me, and I transitioned over to TikTok shop mainly because Etsy fees were starting to bother me. Now that at first the Etsy fees didn't bother me because I wasn't getting much sales, so there wasn't much fees that they were taking. But as you guys saw over the month, my sales on Etsy started inclining, and because they're inclining, there's more fees, and I started seeing that fee number, and it kind of scared me a little bit. So let me see if I tell you guys those percentages. But compared to TikTok had way less fees compared to Etsy, and that's initially why I made that change, just because I was getting so many sales on Etsy that my fees were a lot. So let me break down. So Etsy has 3 fees. They have a listing fee, which is 20 cents per listing, and you have to renew your listings on Etsy every 3 months. So you initially pay 20 cents, and then every 3 months you have that listing up, you have to renew it for another 20 cents. Then Etsy has a transaction fee, which is 6.5% of the total order excluding taxes. And then Etsy also has a processing fee, which is 3% of the total order plus 25 cents. So all of those fees added up greatly, and I was losing hundreds and hundreds of dollars to Etsy fees. So I changed over to TikTok Shop, which has the fees do not even compare in the slightest to Etsy. So I changed over to TikTok, and my first month on there, I got 95 sales. And the bonus thing about TikTok Shop is when you go on TikTok Live, you're able to hook up your shop to your TikTok Live. So if people join your live, they don't have to go anywhere. Because for Etsy, if people on your TikTok Live, they have to leave. They have to go to your page, click on the link that'll take you to whatever shop. If you have an Etsy shop or if you have a website, they would have to leave your live to go there. But the excellent thing about TikTok Shop is that you can link it to your TikTok Live and people can purchase right on your live. Like, they don't have to go anywhere. And I definitely think that made the hugest difference in the world. Like, I was still able to get people to leave and go to go to Etsy, but it was just so much more convenient, and people were more likely to buy if they didn't have to go anywhere but stay on your TikTok Live. You know what I mean? But next up, we have June. In June, I got 42 sales, and it may seem like this number decreased, but I took a lot of customs in June. I took a lot of big customs. So, that's June. Nothing crazy. Still, once again, I was very consistent on TikTok Lives, still building that. And yeah, and then I remember I may have started in May, actually. I started posting on YouTube 2 times a week. 2 times a week on YouTube, and I did that throughout the summer. So that I started that in May. So in June, I was also working a lot on YouTube here, trying to build this up. And then in July, I got 53 sales, and then I also started painting safety eyes, and I started introducing safety eyes into my TikTok shop. Then next up is August. So in August, I got 80 sales on TikTok shop, and then I also released a pattern. So throughout the month of, like, still from May to July, I still had my Etsy shop up, but I just didn't sell plushies on there. So I started releasing, I released a pattern in August, and it was my cow for Callie. And so I started getting sales off of Etsy too, because I was selling patterns. So on Etsy, I got 34 sales from Etsy and then 80 sales from TikTok in August. And this is when I started getting into pattern making and brainstorming for different pattern ideas. And then also, once again, I was selling eyes. And now here we are in September, and so far in September I have 58 sales on TikTok and 22 sales on Etsy. And once again, I'm working on another pattern this month, and I have 3 upcoming markets coming up. I have 1-day market in November, I have a 2-day market in November, and then I also have a 2-day market in December. And I still do TikTok Live very consistently now. I don't do TikTok Live every day just because I'm in school. So I try to do TikTok Live as consistently as I possibly can. So guys, that is my crochet business journey. It is crazy to see how far we've come along. On TikTok now, I have over 26k followers. Here on YouTube, we're almost at 7k subscribers, and on Instagram, I think like almost 1,300 followers on Instagram. Out of all the platforms, I think Instagram is the hardest to grow. TikTok for me was the easiest to grow, and YouTube is like a good medium. But honestly, guys, that was my journey throughout my business. And another thing about my business that I think really helps is I try my very best to connect with you guys. And I think when people see that you're like authentic and you're real and you're like down to earth, it makes people want to connect with you more. As well, you make so many connections with other people. I've met so many crochet friends, literally the best people I've ever met in my life, through my small business, and making these connections, you meet other crocheters, people talk about you. Like for instance, I have so many crochet friends on TikTok that if someone joins their live and be like, hey, like, do you have like a cow? And they're like, no, but my friend, like Crochet Corner, she has a cow, you should go check her out. And once again, that just comes down to networking, which I think is really important. And once again, when it comes to TikTok lives, when it comes to making YouTube videos, I think when people see the person who's behind the small business, you're just easy to relate to. People want to know about your life. People want to know how you're doing. You want to know how they're doing. You just like feel so connected. At least I do. I feel really connected to my audiences, and it's honestly a really special thing, and I feel like it's a really special connection. And I think that's also what's helped me grow, is because of this like connection I essentially was able to build, especially with like my TikTok audience. And I was able to do that through TikTok live, being consistent, but also just growing my TikTok account and posting videos, letting people know what I'm working on, letting people know if my business schedule is gonna change, like. And it's just like, it's been such an amazing journey. And at the start, I was very doubtful, I was very unsure of it, but at the end of the day, I did stick with it, and I showed up. Guys. When I first started going live, I was live with maybe 2 or 3 people, and it went to the point where I was live and there was over 100 people in there. And just once again, it's consistency, and that's how these different platforms are gonna start pushing you out if you're consistent. And it's honestly just so amazing, this journey. And a lot of you guys, some of you guys have been here from the very start, and you guys have been here since I was on TikTok live making crochet bags with maybe 5 people in my live, to now I have so many people, so many amazing people. I've made so many amazing friendships. I have so many loyal customers, and we're literally all friends, and it's just such a loving and welcoming community. And I'm so grateful to have the platform that I have, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to share my experience with you guys. And I'm so thankful for all of you who support me in any way that you guys do support me. There's so many people who, for instance, join my TikTok live and they're like, oh, like, I'm sorry, like, I love your work, I can't buy it, but like, I love your work. And what people don't understand with a small business, a follow is literally the most support you can give a small business. Like, you don't have to buy something from a small business to support them. Even just your follow, your gratitude, expressing you like my work, it's just, that's like the most I can say. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this little breakdown. I try to be as informative because a lot of people always ask me about my journey, so I try to like tell you guys what like ideally happened every month until now. And I hope it give you guys like a good like gist as to how I got my business going and what I did along the way to essentially where I am now. So I really appreciate you guys. I'm just gonna say it once again, I would not be here if it weren't for you guys. I wouldn't be doing TikTok live, I wouldn't be posting YouTube videos, I wouldn't be making content if you guys didn't want to see it, if you guys didn't support me. I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So I just want to literally say thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting me through literally, it's gonna be a year now. And I'm honestly also really proud of myself for what I was able to accomplish, because I'm also a full-time college student. So I was able to accomplish all of this while still working on my studies, but also building this business and this amazing community on the side, and I cannot be more grateful for that. So I also posted on my Instagram for you guys to ask me questions and stuff, but I feel like this video is as long, super long already, and I don't want to add that information in, so I think I'm gonna film a separate video, and you guys might get 2 videos this week. And I'm gonna do a separate video, and it's gonna be a Q&A. So I'm gonna do that separately just because I already asked you guys questions. Some of you guys have amazing questions, and I feel like it just deserves its own like Q&A video. And I think I've never filmed it like a Q&A video like that before, so I think that'll be really fun. But if you guys want to ask me, if you guys have any like specific questions, comment them but down below in this video. Follow me on Instagram. My Instagram, all my socials will be linked down below. My TikTok, my shop, my Etsy, my Instagram. If you guys want to connect and want to support me on other platforms as well, you definitely could. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and literally comment a heart if you guys have been here with me, and I just appreciate that so much. But guys, don't forget to like this video, and once again, if you guys have any more questions, I would love to answer them. Definitely comment them down below so I can definitely either answer them in the comments or answer them in my Q&A video. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and once again, thank you so much for all of you who have supported me through this freaking crazy journey of a small business. If you ask little me, I would have never thought I would have a business. I would never have thought you would be seeing me here on YouTube either. But thanks to you guys, it was all possible. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you guys in the next video. So bye everyone.